So you beat the vanilla game, and maybe you beat some other mods too, but are you ready for Awakening of the Rebellion? One of the most complex, expansive, and toughest mods for Empire at War. I, a self-proclaimed expert, is going to show you, someone I proclaim as a noob, how to be absolutely kick-ass with the Rebellion. Today, me and this dog are going to teach you how to win Awakening of the Rebellion mod for Empire at War in less than 10 weeks. This is for y'all speedrunners out there. So my original plan for this speed run was to just do a playthrough and show y'all how to do it. But so when I streamed it for the whole 3 hours, my microphone was never plugged in.
You're like a Kentucky Fried Idiot.
So now I'm making a tutorial instead of a let's play. So this is what you're gonna need to do if you wanna speed run. Alright, I'm gonna just cut that out. Anyways, at the moment, what I'm playing now is 2.8.2, which is not the space rework, but I have to finish before the space rework comes, so that's why I wanted to speed run it. So I'm making a tutorial now, so I can show everybody how to beat Empire at War, Awakening of the Rebellion in less than 10 weeks.
Under construction.
So do it while you can, because 2.9 is going to be even harder. Alright, then let's get started. The first thing you want to do is sell anything that's costing you money.
Money.
The whole point of a speed run is to be so aggressive and blitzkrieg them so that they are basically beaten before they can respond. Now, while you hit them at Coruscant, they may hit you over Korriban or something, but Coruscant is way more important and way more valuable than some backwater planet. So, usually, the first thing you should do is just like sell all your ion cannons, because if you're doing a speed run, you're not playing defense. You are all offense. So get rid of your ion cannons. You get rid of, any space stations that are costing you money that you don't need. And you're going to have to pick one point to put all your pressure through. So we're going to be going through Biss to get to Freyja, and then ultimately Coruscant. And then Coruscant is our objective.
Received.
The next thing you're going to want to do is consolidate your forces. Now, as the Rebellion, your forces are really spread out, so this is going to be the real challenge, is how can you save as many forces as possible so when you get them together, you'll have a good chance at taking out the space station over Coruscant and having enough ground troops to slowly carve your way through the massive defenses that is the fortress city of Coruscant. So remember, you do have 10 weeks to do all this. So even though I did it in 15 weeks because I decided to make it a speed run once I was already at week 5.
Dropping those excuses.
So so it took me a tiny bit longer, but you could no doubt do this in 10 weeks. So remember, you need every advantage you can get. If you got 10 weeks, you have enough time to make 10 Sec Force platoons on any amount of planets. If you can split up your production in between as many planets as possible, you will maximize the amount of forces you'll have at your disposal by the end of the 10 weeks. So at this point, you're probably going to want to invest in economic structures. Unfortunately, because this is a speed run, we're not going to have enough time for those economic structures to pay for themselves. For example, A mining facility costs 3,000 credits, but only makes 150 a week. Therefore, you would need to have that mine for at least 20 weeks before you made any sort of money off of it. So we're not going to be investing in economic structures. If you need money, sell an old base. You're abandoning parts of the galaxy so you can get to Coruscant and destroy the Empire's resolve before the 2.9 rework. This is important. No time can be wasted. Given that no time can be wasted, Alliance envoys are the best way of making some extra money in the early game. They can make you up to a couple extra 1,000 credits a week, and they only cost 300 credits a piece. You just scout out a good planet that makes a lot of money and still have their resources. Envoys are amazing. They're very easy to overlook though. So remember to go to Alliance Officer Academy, I want to say.
Reporting.
So go to an Alliance Officer Academy. Train them. Train some spies if you want. You can get some hero ships like Rebel 1 or Captain Shack with the Liberation, Geno Eclipse. Those buildings are really good. If you have extra cash and don't know what to spend it on, get a special unit. So, now you've got all the units that you've been producing. You've got all the units that you've been able to scavenge from across the galaxy. Now, it's time to talk tactics. Coruscant almost always has a hypervelocity gun waiting to defend its orbit. So, it's much smarter to use a bunch of smaller ships or even just straight starfighters to take on Coruscant space station, because they can't be hit with hypervelocity rounds. If you were to bring in a dreadnought, even when it's braced, it will get obliterated in one hypervelocity round shot. If you have an MC-80 Justice, you know, those blue bumpy space turds, those will get hit in one shot. The only tank it has is in its shields, and hypervelocity guns just rip right through it. Other capital ships won't be able to last long against it, so I recommend against using big ships, but it's always up to you. So finally, once I got all my forces into position, when I attacked Coruscant, I basically hit it with 6 Nebulon Bs and CR-90s, and the rest were fighters, including 15 squads of Y-wings. So that's a lot of bombers. Something to note is that when you do use small ships like Nebulons or CR-90s, is that the GR-75, the hero ship of the Rebellion, is actually pretty effective at healing them, which is why I brought it with me to Coruscant. So full disclosure, I got pretty lucky with the amount of reinforcements over Coruscant being only a hypervelocity cannon, a Golan 3 platform, and an XQ platform. The main fleet was over Kuwat, preparing a counterattack, but after taking Coruscant's orbit, I moved bigger ships into position like Akbar and Rebel 1, along with a stunning amount of dreadnoughts and bulk cruisers, to be able to beat back the last of the Imperial fleet. Now there's no way in hell I can survive a counterattack if the hypervelocity gun is still operational, so I immediately moved my ground forces over Coruscant to begin a ground invasion. So congratulations, you've landed on Coruscant. Now I have bad news. Any invasion of Coruscant is going to result in massive casualties. So you're going to need to have multiple waves of infantry and armor ready if possible, because they will chew through everything you have until you eat away all of their reserves. Since Coruscant is outfitted with turbo lasers, shield generators, and who knows what else is stationed on the ground, it's going to be a slog, and you're going to have to take casualties every step of the way. Effective use of rocket troops is what's going to distinguish a successful invasion from a suicide run. The better the Rocketeer, the better the range is going to be. And you're going to need that range when you got 6 turbo lasers raining down on your position while you're trying to advance. Another great thing about rockets is that they go through the shield generator. So instead of wasting all of your blaster bolts pinging uselessly off the shield, rockets and grenades will be able to pass right through and destroy whatever's on the other side. Since the outcome of the battle depends on the survival of your rocket troops, you need to keep them protected, whether it's via armor, medics, or mass charges against the enemy lines. Before the 10 weeks are up, you do have the ability to make quite a few Sec Force platoons. I started the battle with about 25 platoons, and by the time the battle was done, I had lost about 10 platoons of only Sec Force soldiers. Don't be afraid to keep throwing bodies at the wall. This is make or break time. All in all, if your rocket troops survive, then your infantry alone can carry the day. But if you haven't gotten the vibe already, don't expect a cakewalk. You're gonna need a lot of reinforcements and multiple full-scale waves to dislodge the enemy from their positions. Try to have AA, because unchecked air superiority could wreck your entire ground invasion. Congratulations, you can now feel a little bit better about yourself. You now know how to speedrun Awakening of the Rebellion as the Rebel side. Let me know if you want to see how I fare with the Black Sun or the Empire, or if you'd rather see me continue this campaign from this point. Also let me know if you've played Awakening of the Rebellion before, down in the comments. So you already know I gotta tell y'all to like and subscribe. But that's basic as hell. So remember to lizzle subscrizzle and follow me at Twitch, WASUPITSME. See y'all next time.